Every time somebody starts a conversation by saying, I've seen your TikToks, or I saw your little TikToks, I know I'm in for it. And I could wager a bet on what content they have seen. It could have been gardening, because I started a garden in my backyard with seeds that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm also learning to can, because I understand what this regime is doing to the food supply and food safety, and it will be catastrophic. Maybe they saw one of the classic clapbacks, or they've seen the videos that I've talked where I'm showing books that I'm using to teach my children, or possibly they have seen information where I am sharing about the dangers of data centers, how they absolutely decimate communities, and they cost taxpayers millions, millions and millions of dollars. But more likely than not, they have seen my open criticism of this regime. And that's what he meant when he said it. So he goes on to describe a few videos of mine where I am criticizing this regime. And then he talks about the meeting that really could have been an email that took place yesterday. And he goes on to tell me that there is nothing wrong with having a strong military and, being able to pass a PT test. And I mean, of course, everybody should look good in uniform and all of these things. And I listened without interrupting. And when he was done, I finally said, I just don't know how you're going to have that conversation. He said, what do you mean? I said, I imagine it will be difficult, but I cannot imagine having that conversation, because you will have to have that conversation with your two sons. You will have to tell them that you supported a regime that did not value their life. What are you talking about? No. No. And so I went on to explain the demographics of the people who are being systematically ousted from the military. I talked about the trans individuals who obviously everybody is so scared of. And then I talked about, top leadership who would not pledge loyalty to this administration. I went on to talk about the waivers that are being removed because black men cannot shave every single day. It causes a skin condition. And then also, those pesky women. I said, so what you are saying is you are supporting a regime that is happy to send your two sons to the front line to fight for a corporation. And I get it, because right now, you don't think that it will affect them. But at some point, it will. Oh, and he was upset. That is not what I said, and that is not what's going to happen. I said, well, just think about it. Just think, if they don't want the black people or the brown people or the women, that only leaves the white males. And if they take all of the black people and all of the brown people and all of the women, who do you think will serve? I said, a part of that book that we all talked about before, it talks about the draft and how they will be testing children in public schools. But if they only want the males and they only want the white males, where will that leave your children? I can't imagine having to have that conversation. I am happy to keep my children home with me, especially my son. It's okay. Everyone that I know that has served in the military has done so honorably, whether it was their choice because they wanted to serve their country, or if it was by force. This was the only way out. They still served with pride and dignity, respect. They pledged their allegiance to the Constitution. I don't know how you have the conversation. And he was visibly upset, and he said, you just don't like me because I'm a Republican. And I told him it has absolutely nothing to do with that. I actually vote Republican more than I do Democrat. It's a funny joke between me and one of my former mentors. I told him, I vote Republican more than you do, and he is a staunch conservative, and it is not a lie. And because of where he lives, he votes Democrat more than I do, even though he is a staunch conservative. Because if you're participating in politics, then it's based on your local elections, and a lot of times in my local elections, Republicans are the only ones on the ballot. So I ask questions. I dig into their thoughts and their ideals. I ponder what will be the best thing for my community. It doesn't matter that you are a Republican. What matters is your priorities. And if you don't see the humanity in your own children, that's not because you're Republican. It's because your values are misaligned. And the conversation did not end well. And that's okay, because my goal was not to change his mind. I did not engage in the conversation as an effort to try to prove that I know more or that he was not as educated as I was. The goal was to simply provide a different perspective because, see, he was completely fine with supporting it when the thought was only that is good for them. But I wanted him to think about what happens when it's not them, but it's you. It's your children, your nephews, your brothers, your cousins, your loved ones. What happens when it is not them, when it is you? Because it will be you. It will be you waiting on a call, desperately checking the mailbox every day to see if you've got correspondence. It will be you. Because that's the plan. It's the playbook. And I get that's probably not what you are being told or sold right now. But the writing isn't on the wall. It's in the book. And for them to get what they want, they need your sons, your nephews, your cousins, your friends, your neighbors. They need them. Because once they get rid of everybody else, they're the only ones left. So be conservative. Have your values. But don't lose your morality. Don't sacrifice your own sons because you're following a regime that is only looking to enrich the wealthiest people and corporations. There's not a price that I am willing to pay for my children's lives. There shouldn't be a price on your children either.